President-elect Trump's plans to cut wasteful government spending and require federal workers to go back to the office is getting some pushback. So why is it so difficult for Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to slash government waste, and just how much help will they get on Capitol Hill? Can they do it? To discuss, we bring in investigative journalist from the Daily Signal, Tony Kinnett, also with us. Bill Caruso, a Democratic strategist. Thank you, guys. Welcome to Newsline.
Good afternoon.
Tony, yesterday was the first meeting of the Senate DOGE caucus, which is the Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy meeting with Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa and unveiling some of their Trump Save American agenda. Top of the list, working from home, 30% of employees now working remotely. Only 12% of federal office space is being used. There are about 7,000 vacant. I mean, this is a lot of waste and money. We're talking trillions of dollars. Can it happen? Can they get it done, Vivek and Elon together?
Well, if they can put a series of proposals together for Congress to vote on, yes, they can get some of these things done. I think most crucially in this situation, it's good to remember that there are a large number of federal agencies who consistently fail financial audits, and not just by a couple of dollars and cents. I mean, billions and billions of dollars away from the marker, from whatever they can suggest is expected spending. And that kind of waste, it hurts Americans. It hurts accountability with the federal government. So analyzing what the federal government has been wasteful in doing this is something that other companies are expected to do. It's about time the federal government got with the program and we reevaluated how we're spending some of this money and space in the case of these federal buildings.
Right. It also fuels inflation, all of this government spending. Now pivoting to who is now a common sense Democrat. Who would have thought? Senator John Fetterman. He was on The View, and Joy Behar asked about the Hunter Biden pardon, whether or not it was politically motivated. And I want you to, Bill, I want you to take a listen to Fetterman's response.
It's undeniable that the case against Hunter Biden was really politically motivated, but I also think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump that was political as well too. Now it's that, and in both cases, I think a pardon is appropriate, and I really think collectively, America's confidence in these kinds of institutions have been damaged by these kinds of cases.
Bill, do you agree with John Fetterman there?
I do, and as I hope you know, we do exist, common sense Democrats.
Yeah, you do, common sense Democrats, yeah.
And I also think, going back to the last question you just asked, this is where bipartisanship, remember that word, right? It does come into play. There's common ground here on sensible, common sense initiatives, not using the justice system. And by the way, not campaigning. We had literally candidates campaigning on arresting and prosecuting people. Like, but that should probably not be the case on the politics side. And going back on the other, yeah, there's waste, fraud, and abuse. But how we go about dealing with this, and whether we're going to be mandating folks to come back to work, right? That's one idea that you can do. Or if we're actually looking at the fact that keeping people employed, and now in the new world, we can utilize technology, and we don't need all this space, and we can save there. That's where I think common sense can come together. And listen, I'm encouraged by it as a Democrat.
You know, what doesn't help, though, is you have all of this demonization in the media, specifically over at MSNBC. Joy Reid, very hyperbolic, always talking about Nazi this, Germany that, dictators.
Care of itself, don't you think? I mean,
I'm sorry, what did you say, Bill?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say,
no.
I think that's taking care of itself. Look at this channel here, what's going on, and there's conversations going on, and they've isolated themselves. If people want to live in bubbles, you do so at your own peril. We learned that last November, right? And I think people in my party are coming around to that.
I hope you're right. I really do. This is something that concerns me, because when I look at individuals who are my age, right, I'm under 30, and I look at statements released by the Young Democrats of Arizona, or I'm looking at statements released by David Hogg going on to CNN talking about running for the vice chair of the DNC, and I see that, yes, there is a moderate group of Democrats who do want to go towards a bipartisanship, towards cooling the rhetoric. That's a very good thing, trying to reach out to alienated demographics that the Democrats have definitely cut out in the last couple of years. Then there's the hyper-progressive angle that unfortunately seems to be a majority of the youth voting to the left. That's what's taking over after you. How are you guys going to reach out to those voters and moderate them?
Right. And one of the big cases now that the Supreme Court is weighing is about the child mutilation, the transgender stuff when it comes to minors. And Joy Reid, I want you to take a listen to, she compared Republicans to Nazis again. Listen to this.
Targeting trans people isn't new. It is an age-old tradition, which Nazi Germany did with brutally violent ends in the 1930s. While the Supreme Court refuses to do anything about weapons of war in schools, today they seemed inclined to uphold Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care for minors.
Bill, what Republicans or anyone is trying to do, any parent, I have a 7-year-old, is trying to protect children. That's all they're trying to do. And yet, I don't understand. It's so inflammatory, this type of talk. Do you think there are Americans out there that are actually buying what people like Joy Reid are selling?
No, and I think there's a majority of Americans that want to have a conversation about what we're talking about here. Parents, by the way, want to be involved in the conversation and not being told we can't have thoughts and ideas about our own children. And it doesn't make us wrong. It doesn't make us evil. It doesn't make us Nazis. It makes us adults having a dialogue and maybe having a different opinion on things, but being able to settle those. That's where the world is, and it's coming back. And people that want to live in that other world, I don't think, and with all due respect to the progressives, you know, I come from a world where winners win, right, and matter, and we haven't won. We've gone back to this ridiculous playbook of calling people names and trying to isolate, and it hasn't worked. So if those folks want to continue digging in, they're losing. So I think what's happening, at least on our side of the aisle, we want to win again. We'd like to win in the midterms. We'd like to run. You saw Democrats literally talking about working across the aisle.
Right.
Border security, too. These are initiatives. That's where the world is moving to. I'm hopeful that's where the winners are going to be.
Yeah, the pendulum has to swing back towards the middle. Tony Kinnett, Bill Caruso, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.